All right, welcome to the AHTV, friends. Another global edition. I love these. So we got people from all over the world doing this. This is great. We got our lovely Adam down in the opposite corner from London, but lives in Texas now. Texas. Texas. And he's from the West Ham is Why We Drink pod. So check them out on all the podcast platforms, but also, they're pretty heavy on Twitter too. So check them out. It's at West Ham is Why pod, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you'll find
I'm not good at self-promotion, to be honest, mate, so thanks.
You'll find him. Anyway, good stuff with him and Wayne. So anyway, below is Irish Tommy. Recognize him, obviously. He's all on here a lot. And he was supposed to be here last week, but forgot or something, fell asleep. I don't know.
Totally forgot.
We're not important, man. Yeah, so he's actually.
No, I have the memory of a fucking goldfish, Tim. I'll be honest. I need reminders of everything if it's more than a couple of days.
Oh, man. And next to me is our good friend AJ from New Zealand. So we got the US, New Zealand, and Ireland represented tonight, and with a little hint of England, thanks to Adam. So anyway, we got Mimi and Robert and Rebecca in the chat already. And just so you guys know, anyone who's watching this live anyway, please feel free halfway through and get your questions queued up. But we're going to do a little Q&A. And if you want to help us out with some topics, since it's really not a whole hell of a lot going on, feel free. I probably won't get to them until halfway through because we already have some stuff going on right now that I wanted to just get out of the way. So that said, first and foremost, the thing that I keep seeing everywhere all day today was that West Ham made contact with Alexis Sanchez's agent, because I guess Man U wants to get rid of the $400K a week striker off the books, who's out on loan, I believe. So anyway, let's start with AJ and go clockwise this time. AJ, what are your thoughts on Alexis Sanchez? You think there's any truth to that? You think we could even
yawn? Look, you cannot possibly convince me he is going to take a 3/4 pay cut just to come to us. At the most, there's no way he would come to West Ham. Absolutely not. He was okay at Arsenal. He definitely isn't worth that £400,000 a week pay packet that he's picking up at United or wherever the hell he is these days. But no, I've never really been a big fan of him. I don't think he would be an overly decent addition at the club. Squad player maybe, but.
Well, I mean, I don't even know when this is in. How do I put it? I don't even know when this would happen. I mean, I don't know what they're talking about. There's no transfer window right now as it stands. You know what I'm saying? We don't even know what the hell is going on with that. So, if it were to happen soon, does that mean that maybe they get other people off the books with heavy salaries to maybe compensate for that? Or, I mean, they technically could find a way to afford them. It's not. I mean, even at say $300 a week, you know what I mean, instead of $400 or something like that. You think he's worth it at all? I guess not. But I guess answer my question. Yeah.
No, I just on his day he can be a very good player. There's no denying that. But do I think there's any truth to it?
It's all over the place. Is the problem though? I mean, I know this is typical though. Like it'll come up on I don't know, like say Daily Mail, right? That's what I'm seeing right here. But also once that happens, then everything picks it up. Because that's a big name. We're talking Man United and stuff like that too in the mix. So that'll start making the rounds. So I don't know. But even Rebecca here says I don't even think he'd want to come here. But what do you think, Adam?
Well, I don't know. The fact is that he's a football player that's not in the peak of his career. He's coming to the end of his career and wants to play at the highest level for as long as he can. And so for him, like career-wise, he's really not succeeded in the past couple of years. And so it gets to a point where money is less of a question. It's more a matter of career ambition. He still wants to play at the highest level. So I don't think it's impossible for him to be tempted at West Ham. But I think for us, where would we put the guy? I mean, I think it's his preferred position to play like left attacking. We've got Felipe Anderson. And I think Felipe Anderson, you know, is a player that's proved can be good. Maybe his form hasn't been great, but like he also is younger, has got a lot more potential. You know, Sanchez is the chance of him like exceeding his current trajectory and potential is slim. Given the choice of him and Anderson, I think I'd rather have Anderson. And then the only other place he could play is in the middle. And I don't think that. I just don't think he's a player that we're crying out for. You know, if he was a centre back that was recognised at an international level, who had achieved a lot in his career, but now maybe was not as renowned as before, I think it's more someone to take a risk on. But for his position, and let's be honest, wingers rely a lot on their pace. He's losing his pace, and I don't quite know that he offers anywhere near as much as he ever did before. So I don't think it's worth it for us.
Two things. So one, it would be it's a name, right? Again, we talked about this a few episodes ago. You weren't here, obviously, but we talked about this a few episodes ago. Where West Ham, what they like to do is get linked with. Because we were just recently linked with 4 different Liverpool players because they're from Liverpool, like with Lallana and Klein and Lovren and that goalkeeper Karius or stuff like that. So yeah, so it's a marketing tool, right? It's a marketing, and that's what West Ham is all about. That's what the board's all about. It's all about marketing, branding. It's all about hey. So when you're talking about bringing a guy like him with his caliber, it's a marketing ploy. I mean, even if they were to take him, I mean, they could find a way to make the money. Yeah, you could sell Felipe Anderson easily. You can sell him. You probably won't get 45 million or 35 million or whatever it was for him. But you know, you can also Yarmolenko. You know, there you go. You move those wingers out of the way for someone like Sanchez. But again, it's is it them or is it Moyes? I mean, what these articles have been saying is that it's Moyes that wants him. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we've got to stop with this stuff. You know, we've been doing this for years, and I hope this isn't true because, you know, I'm sick of these kind of signings. We did it far too often in the past, as you just alluded to, Tim. You know, these players who have a name that we can bring in, who are in the autumn of their careers, who just want that final kind of payday, and so we're dropping down a grade. Let's be honest here. Under what circumstances does Alexis Sanchez decide, yeah, okay, I'll go play for West Ham?
Yeah.
Under what circumstances? When he's coming towards the end of his career and he's not going to get a big move anywhere. He just wants to another kind of payday, final kind of big contract, see out his playing days at West Ham. Probably not giving much of a shit about anything really at that point.
Is he still an international?
I don't imagine Chile would be in a position to jettison him at this point. He probably will keep playing for Chile until he retires.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, basically, at his twilight of his career, anyway, playing for West Ham definitely keeps him in the mix to, you know, get regular football for your club. I mean, that not him in general. I'm just saying, like specifically, but him generally. Someone with his age, someone with his declining stats and everything else, trying to stay in the mix for their their particular national team. Those are the type of guys that would want to play for a West Ham or want to play for a Norwich or a Bournemouth or something like that. You know?
Exactly. If you'd have asked him 5 years ago, he'd have left in your fucking face. Yeah, he'd have said to his agent, "Are you serious?" They'd have had a good laugh about it. You know, yeah, he's coming here because it's, you know, good old West Ham, the retirement home for old pros with a big name. Who can still command a kind of a big wage to sign for the club because of the, as you say, the esteem of having this name at your club. We should be running a mile from this. I don't believe it, to be honest. I just don't think wages-wise. I know we could swing it somehow, but we'd still surely only be offering him around 150, and that's still a huge drop for him. I would imagine the only way United move him on is if they continue to pay like half his salary or something like that.
Yeah, well, he's
at portion of it.
Inter right now, and well, as far as I don't know when that contract runs out, but I'm assuming real soon.
I'd be interested to know how much of his wages Inter are actually paying. I'll guarantee you, United are still paying a good chunk of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not going to get into that whole thing because you guys have already said everything, and I was interjecting, so I'm not going to say my piece on that. I already did. So, anybody watch the second London derby today? The FIFA derby?
Was this Declan and Mason?
Declan and Mason.
Another one?
Victory for West Ham, yeah.
3-2.
Yeah.
Kurt Zouma got sent off, though.
Who did?
Kurt Zouma got sent off, didn't he? He gave away a penalty and got a red card. Declan stuck the penalty away.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't watch it. That's what I was asking if anyone you guys watched it. I just read the results.
Oh, yeah, I watched it.
Who played who? What was it?
Declan Rice was playing Mason Mount in a FIFA game. Declan was playing as West Ham. Mason Mount as Chelsea. It was good fun. It's on the West Ham YouTube channel. You can go and watch it there. It was good fun. Declan won 3-2 against 10-man Chelsea. And you'll be glad to know that Mason Mount was absolutely sickened at the end of the game. So it was good fun. It's worth a watch, yeah. But we beat Chelsea, which is what matters. And you know all that talk we've been having about, the possibility maybe Royce would go to Chelsea, that they're perhaps interested in. I tell you, he was all about West Ham today in that game against Mason Mount. He was giving him loads.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was singing West Ham songs and everything. He was brilliant.
That's awesome.
Singing player songs as he was beating him. It was very good.
Looks like a good friend from Ghana is watching as well. So we got Neil from Australia, and we got Ghana, people from all over the world watching the show right now, which is great. I love it. Thanks, people. So anyway, for those just tuning in, feel free to start tossing us some questions, because in about 15 minutes we're going to start answering those questions. I only got a few more topics to go through, so please, there's not really much to talk about tonight. But anyway. Yeah, Yusuf Paulson. All right, let's do that one. Fuck it. Another ridiculous. I don't know. Let's start with Tommy and go the other way. What do you know about Yusuf Paulson? You think he'd be a good fit? You think there's any truth to the rumors, etc., etc.? You see how
yeah, I'm a bit rusty myself. You're gonna have to remind me who the fuck he is.
Let's look him up. Fuck it. All right.
Look him up. Let's see what is, because off the top of my head, I recognize the name a bit, but I just don't recall anything about him.
Red Bull Leipzig. Yeah, there you go. RBL. There you go.
Yeah, he plays for Denmark. Once again, a winger. I mean, honestly, I don't know why
striker, winger. Yeah, can be used for both. He's 6'4". That's nice. I like tall forwards, man.
How old is he?
25.
Yeah, and how many appearances? Does it say how many appearances he's made for Leipzig this season? Is he a regular or is he out of favor?
Yeah, and he had six UEFA Champions League appearances with them this season, 20 regular season matches with them, with 3 goals and 4 assists, primarily as a winger. Because last year he played primarily as a striker and he netted 15 goals in 31 appearances.
So that's what I'm wondering. I mean, Leipzig, got plenty of money. They're not in a position where they need to sell players that they don't want to sell. I'm just wondering if he's still a regular and still playing well for them. I'm just wondering.
I think he is a regular.
Yeah,
I think that it's probably someone who just wants to play in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think so.
People know in the lower tier of leagues, it's always a pull, right? You want to play in the best league. And he's played for him since, he's been there for a long time. What, 6-7 years? He's been there a long time, most of his career. So he might be ready for a payday.
He'd be giving up a lot, though. He'd be, he's playing for a very good side in a very good league. He's pretty close to home, being in Germany. He's just a hop across the border to Denmark, and playing Champions League. Even if he does want some kind of a fresh start, I don't know if he'd be. If he might want to go to another Champions League team, I would imagine. Right?
Yeah. Well, he's a self-confessed Liverpool fan, so that was also in the news today that his favorite team is Liverpool. But I don't.
That's not happening.
That ain't happening. No. Nice try. Yeah,
it just seems a straight. I just don't understand that link. And, it seems a bit random, but it's hard to know sometimes if they're just picking that shit out of pepper, these journalists, or if there's some source they have that's saying there's some link for some reason. It's hard to know with these things. But
well, now that you mention that, now I think I'll come up with the truth. Okay, so I don't know if anybody watched the show that Tommy was supposed to be on last time that he missed. That I was on. I think I can't remember who was on with me. Alex from Mississippi was on with me, and I don't remember who else. I was so sorry.
Was Reese on that?
No. Reese was Reese. It was supposed to be Luke from Irons United. Reese was supposed to be there. Steve Mothersoul was supposed to be there. It was supposed to be basically all of us. We were supposed to come back and do a show. Throwing in some fake news, like some fake transfers, like saying that we saw it somewhere, and then trying to see how see if it would stick and stuff like that. So since I was by myself on this, with Luke, actually, Luke was the only other person that showed up. I had to pull in some other people to do the show with me, and they had no idea. So halfway through the episode, I'm already naming these transfer rumors, and I'm pulling them completely out. I looked him up before the show and was like, yeah, that would be kind of cool. We kind of want him. Yeah, I was doing my own scouting, right? And then I was saying, I read it somewhere. Then Alex is freaking grilling me. He's grilling me on the fucking show. He's like, hey, where did you see this from? What article was it? Where did this guy come from? And I'm like, and I'm private chatting. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. This is fake. Nobody knows this, but I'm just doing this. You didn't get the memo. Prick. And so anyway, anybody who watched that show, all those rumors were fake. So yeah, it was like Ivan Toney, who's the leading goal scorer of League One. I said some guy from Scotland, from Aberdeen, just because I'm like, Moyes has got to want somebody from Scotland, and he's not getting anybody from Celtic or Rangers. So I picked some random guy from Aberdeen, and then picked some guy from Stuttgart, who's I guess the fourth most valuable player in Bundesliga too. So that was fun. But
so this one was one you just pulled out your arsenal.
It was all bullshit, but Yusuf Paulson's not bullshit. But anyway.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was.
No. Well, Tommy was saying it sounds like bullshit. He's like, where does this one come from? And that just made me think about, we were supposed to do some bullshit ones. But no, this is actually on a few different websites. So, all right. So Diop. Actually, I'm sorry, Adam and AJ. Yusuf Paulson, you ever heard of him? And obviously, Adam, you just looked him up. But would you take him? You think he fits? Before we get to AJ, Adam.
Once again, I don't think it's a position that is that desperate for us to strengthen anyway. So, no, not really.
Okay, AJ.
Yeah, I heard about him the other day. I was just sitting there on Instagram, and that guy Alex from West Hammers on Instagram, he started putting it out. So I just had a little bit of a read, and I'm thinking, it sounds like the real deal. But look, I don't think we'll, unless we clear out the likes of Yarmolenko and Anderson, I don't think we're going to go in for him. We've got more of a chance of getting Mario Götze in from Dortmund at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's the other one. Fucking Götze. Oh, God. And so who's next? Who's the next one that's going to pop up?
Who knows? It's silly season. There's literally nothing to write about, so they're going to be even worse than usual with their linking this player and that player to every club.
I'm surprised the rumour for Lacazette hasn't come up this window. Remember a couple of seasons back how every single window for about 4 windows, Lacazette coming to West Ham, Lacazette coming to West Ham. I'm surprised that hasn't come up this window.
Yeah, Batshuayi should be along any day now as well.
Yeah.
Now that I've called it, just watch.
So Issa Diop, man. A lot of people on all of the social media, it's almost like 50-50-ish that half the supporters say, fucking sell him on, man, for whatever reasons. And the reasons are usually he's inconsistent. He doesn't play enough. He's not 100% every single game. He doesn't give it every single game. And so he doesn't even play every single game. And the 2 seasons he's been with us, he hasn't played every single match. And the matches that he does, he's 50-50. So anyway, The other people are like, no, he's only 21 or something, or 20 or whatever the hell it is, and he was a former captain, and this is such a bright future. So what is it? And we'll get your opinions, I guess. That's what I'm getting at. So AJ, we'll start with you and go around. AJ, Diop, you love him, you hate him, you think we should sell him, cash in on now before he becomes Mikel Antonio at 30 years old and can't get rid of him anymore?
No, look, I do like him. I think he is a great player on his day. He has a lot more good days than bad, granted, but I think if this was true, if he had said to the club, look, I want to go in the window, why would he appear in a video that was put out by the club? Well, it doesn't make sense. Why would he openly admit to wanting to leave while also appearing on the club's official YouTube channel in a sit-down video where he openly said, I love being at this club?
Adam.
I don't understand that. I think it's just more shit that's been pulled from the media's ass because they're stuck in quarantine like everyone else.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I reckon that the reason that people are so on the fence about it is because of the number of times that we've made the wrong decision. Let's look at Winston Reid. He was linked with all of the top clubs for a lot of money, and we didn't sell him and should have sold him because then he got injured, never achieved. Let's look at your hero, James Tompkins. The clubs sold him thinking, you know what, he's surplus to requirements. The reality is we should have kept hold of him, really. It turned out that season we had injuries. We were really short at the back, and he'd have done the job. The reality is West Ham can never seem to get it right. Yeah. And I think that's why people are so and ahhing, because the reality is that he's shown to be not fully consistent, but has a lot of potential. Yeah. Now, right now, we don't know if he'll reach that potential, but we know that right now he can also attract a really big asking price.
That's what I mean.
I think, honestly,
for you to say, go.
Well, I think that if they can find an experienced defender who's got another 2 or 3 years in him at centre back, I think that actually, if we can get a big chunk of money for him, I think it's a worthwhile thing to do. Now, the good thing about this is that the club don't need to sell him. But I think that they should have a price tag in mind. And if one of the top four want to come in and offer 50 million for him, for a defender who may not ever reach the potential, it's probably good business.
Yeah. So we'll roll back real quick. AJ, if there was a price like that would say, you know what, fucking get rid of him. What's your price?
If I'm in a position if I have no choice but to sell him, I'd be asking for between 45 and 50 for him.
Well, yeah. So basically, if someone came in with a bid for 65 million right now, you'd say buy?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yep.
Tommy.
Yeah. To deal with the money side of things, if you're going to sell him first, I'd be looking for 60 plus. Because the market. No, look, we don't know what the market's going to be like when the dust settles and all this. The arsehole could have fallen out of the market. But just going on how the market has been up to this point, I'd be looking for 60 plus. So any bid from 60 onwards, I would be okay with. And as far as I'm concerned, every player has a price. Diops would be 60 upwards of 60 for me. And I'd be happy to move him on at that. No problem. The other side of the discussion there from AJ and Adam, as regards what we think of him, he has been inconsistent. He has made mistakes, but he has in other games also been very, very good and looked really promising. And he is still young. And you are in at the deep end in the Premier League when you're a young player, particularly from another country. And I've spoken before on the show that I didn't think swapping him and Balbuena in and out of the team did anything for him or Balbuena. Right. I think if he's left in there beside Ogbonna, week in, week out, let him make the odd mistake. He's going to do that. He's young. But I think he has a really high ceiling. And I think the more we play him, the better he'll get. So, yeah, it could be one of those where we sell him now this summer for 60 million, and then 3 years down the line, he's worth double. And we're like, oh, shit, if we'd have just held him for a couple of years, we'd have been getting 85, 90 for him. But, you know, like you said, those are decisions you have to make. But I'm fine with keeping him. I think he has a really high ceiling. I like him. He seems like a good lad. He's a good pro. Definitely has talent. So I'm happy to keep him. But like I said, if the money is right, it's cheerio.
Just like Adam was saying, okay, so in history, even there's, how do I put it, back when 11, 12, when our championship season, going into our first season in Premier League, I mean, Newcastle was on Tompkins for 15, 20 million. They wanted him, and we wouldn't get rid of him. And that was, I guess, Party really wanted him, and Party ended up getting him when he went to Palace. But anyway, with Winston Reid, same thing. Arsenal was one that came after him a couple times that wanted him really bad, and offered some big money, and we just didn't do it. And like you're saying, hindsight's 20/20. And here's the problem. Problem is the only price that's come out right now, other than the whole Manchester United bullshit, which appears to be bullshit, is that Tottenham wants him. So it's 45 million. That does to arrival at 45 million for Diop to arrival. That doesn't sit with me. But at the same time, it's like, personally, I'm not really afraid he's going to do much against us because he's so fucking inconsistent. So I'm not really worried, about him, playing against us.
Well, sure.
It's not like selling Jermaine Defoe who's going to score fucking hat tricks against us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure. But I mean, this is Tottenham, number one. And, fuck Tottenham. And I'm not giving Tottenham up for 45 million. No chance.
You're right. I think honestly, I think his price goes up 10 million because it's Tottenham, to be perfectly honest.
There you go. Yeah.
I'd say make it 20 at a minimum, and you got a deal. That's on top of the 45 million, and that's just because it's Tottenham. So,
boom. Yeah, because that's honestly.
And even then, it would just fucking leave a taste in your mouth, wouldn't it?
We just know when you're getting that money out of him for a player who's not really worth it. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, I don't think Diop.
Well, really see, here's the thing, Tim. Right, but you have some things you have to consider when you're buying a young player. Okay, they're not just. Let's say some club comes in and gives us 60 million for Diop.
Yeah,
they're not just paying 60 million for Diop today, right? They're buying a young player who they think over the next 2 or 3 years can become a great player, and who can potentially play for their club and be brilliant for them for 10 years. And there's your 60 million. So with young players who you think are like very, very talented and have a really high ceiling, you're really paying most of that money for what you think they'll become.
Yeah. I just don't see it.
And then they fucking tank and you're like, oh, Christ, we actually paid that much for this dude.
I look at it like, we're either doubling or tripling, the money that we paid for him. So we're getting our money back plus another couple players worth. You know what I mean? We can go back out there and in the market and try to find another couple Diops out there.
Well, that's the ideal way to build your squad. That's the ideal way. Leicester do it all the time.
Yeah.
Leicester sold Harry Maguire for 80 million quid.
I can't believe that to this day.
I know. I just pulled Man United's pants down. And, I went in dry. It's just... And then they brought in Soyuncu. None of us had ever heard of him. There were probably people in... Where's he from? Is it Greece or Turkey he's from? He's from Greece.
Turkey.
Turkey. There's probably people in Turkey who hadn't heard of him. But, and then he comes in and does a great job for Leicester. Does a great job for Leicester. Plus, they were able to make Tielemans' loan permanent. They brought in a couple of other players to improve their squad. I mean, that's how you build a team. So you don't turn down big money for your players, even if they're your best players. Someone comes in for 90 million for Declan Rice. I love the guy. one of our own and all that, but cheers, Declan. Cheerio.
Yeah.
We're going to buy we're going to buy three 30 million pound players and have hopefully top quality in 3 positions now.
With 1 scout, yeah.
We literally have, but we're West Ham, so you know what will happen. If we keep hold of him, he will never achieve his potential.
Exactly.
If we sell him, he will be the best player ever and win the flipping. He'll move on and win the Champions League. We never do it right because we're West Ham.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine if we get our money. We get our money and reinvest it and improve the team. Then happy days.
All right, it's chat room question time because it looks like there's a good 5 or 6 that have popped up. Also, there's still plenty of time if you have any questions that you want us to answer for you. Feel free to start throwing them in the queue for me. It doesn't matter if you're on Facebook or Periscope or even Twitch now if you're watching over there. But yeah, please ask them up. So first one is kind of a fun one here, and we'll start with Tommy and go around. If you could sign anyone in the league with no money limit, who would you sign, Tommy?
I would sign the best player in the league, Kevin De Bruyne. This is simple one for me. Kevin De Bruyne is the best player in the Premier League. The things that guy does with the football are ridiculous. His vision, his passing. He's just an unbelievable player. I love watching him play. Some of those defense splitting passes you see him make, just imagine De Bruyne like floating around in our midfield, just getting on the ball all the time, controlling everything and playing around. Easy decision for me. Don't have to think about it. KDB.
Adam.
I think that's hard because now all I can think about is him. But the first name that came to my mind was Sergio Aguero. I wish I could have Sergio Aguero. I wish I could have it 3 years ago.
More maybe.
But still, like, the guy is one of the greatest goal scorers in Premier League history. He will go down as a Premier League legend. And one thing that West Ham struggle with is an out-and-out, absolute proven Premier League goal scorer. So I'll get Aguero.
All right, AJ.
I'd go on for Yuri Tielemans.
Ooh.
I honestly would. The times that I've watched Leicester play, he's just been absolutely fantastic. He's really, really good with the ball. His control is absolutely fantastic. He's got a great eye to set up goals. I think he is that all-round player that West Ham could definitely benefit from. But I mean, you've just got to look. For me, you've just got to look at anyone in that Leicester City squad because at the moment, that is a team that's built for the future. That's how we should be building up. So,
yeah. Well, there's only one answer for me.
James Tompkins.
Please don't tell me James Tompkins. You got to be kidding me.
He's gonna go there. He's gonna go there.
You got to be kidding me.
It's number one. It's a silly question. Number two, it would never happen. But at the same time, I want to bring the boy home. That's what it comes down to. He was there since age 7. He was there.
Tim, you sound like he just died in Afghanistan on duty or something. You want to bring the boy home? Come on, you can sign any Premier League player, Tim, for West Ham. Don't do us dirty like this.
There's a Aguero, like KDB, James Tompkins.
That was just for fun, obviously. No, I would definitely, geez, that's a really tough one because I know someone mentioned Mo Salah. I would definitely never, just because I cannot stand the way he dies. It just makes me sick to my stomach. I would never want to see that in a West Ham shirt.
The hieroglyphic Heskey, don't want him.
We already have Studa, and I love that. So I would never take Grealish. That's another one. He deserves to wear a Tottenham jersey. He just looks the part. He looks like Adderwald and just skinny. So anyway, someone says Van Dijk. A lot of people say Van Dijk. That's funny.
Yeah.
Alexander-Arnold. I mean, those are good choices. James Madison, obviously. Jordan Hugel keeps popping up.
Evening, Charlie. How are you?
Yeah, exactly. That's the Tompkins pick of the chat room. Harry Kane's popped up a few times in the chat room. I would never want that either.
I did think it, like the thought crossed my mind just because of goal scorer, but I could never do that. I just feel
honestly. Yeah,
being in a West Ham shirt makes me feel physically sick.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that, Adam. I really am.
I'm trying to pick somebody different that you guys haven't already said that.
How about would you go someone like really young who you think has just got massive potential? Would you take someone like Phil Foden?
I mean, I would take him.
Take him for if the money's not a question, blah blah blah, and they actually want to play for West Ham. Yeah. I don't know, man.
You run the risk of having Ashley Fletcher 2.0.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Foden
look at the hype around him when he was at United, and then we go and pick him up. We were busy thinking, oh yeah, he's going to be the next best thing since sliced bread. Where's he at now? Middlesbrough?
He was. I don't know if he stayed there. He was on the first. No, wasn't he? Or was he? Yeah, I remember seeing him in the Sunderland documentary actually when they played.
I think he went up there for a loan spell.
Yeah.
Oh man, Adam Johnson.
In your dreams.
No, it's funny because not many people know. Actually, I've never said this before on the show, in all the shows that we've ever done. But one of my favorite defenders, besides James Tompkins, never wore a West Ham shirt, and I don't have pretty much any favorite players that. Well, I do have a couple of favorite players that don't play for West Ham. One of them being Joshua King. I've always wanted him to play for us, but he's not a type of guy that would want to with an unlimited budget spend all my money on him. But the guy's retired now. But one of my favorite defenders besides James Tompkins of all time is Daniel Agger. Just the fucking menacing attitude, the fucking way that he played the game. I fucking love Daniel Agger. I hate Liverpool, but I loved the way he played. That's the type of guy I like. But anyway, I wish there was someone like him in the league right now. There isn't. So honest to God, I would put all my money on James Tompkins because there's really nobody else in the league right now that, besides the obvious, KDB and everything you guys said. So I'm sorry for being a dud in this.
All right, Tim's doubling down. Okay.
Not even João Moutinho from Wolves.
Okay. All right. Jimenez.
Not if I can have anyone.
I mean, I would fucking take him too. But exactly. Not anyone league. Anyway, it was a great question, by the way. You spent a good 10 minutes on it. Holy shit. So, a lot of Van Dijks, man. Wow. A lot of people say Van Dijk.
Well, I guess no surprise. I mean, defense is a position that we've always been fairly weak centre back, and he's the greatest centre back in the world at the moment. So it does make sense.
A couple Mahrez's and also a lot of comments on Adam's jersey. So that's
classic. Actually, I'll be honest. This is actually quite a sentimental jersey to me because when I was a kid, my parents don't like football at all. My granddad was a West Ham fan, and so I became a West Ham fan.
Yeah.
But the only way I would get to go is a classmate of mine called Mel. She would always go to Tenerife over Christmas.
Yeah.
Because I'm a West Ham fan, they would give me her season tickets. Like her dad would give them to me, and I would get to go to the games. He passed away from cancer, and this was one of his jerseys, and she gave it to me, and she said, "Hey, this is me and her dad actually just before he died, he had tickets to Watford away, and his friend bailed on him, and so he was like, do you think he asked his daughter, do you think Adam would want to come? So me and him went on the trip, just the two of us, and so I had a lot of time for him, and she gave me this shirt, one of his shirts, and just said, hey, this is one of my dad's shirts, and so Steve, this is in honor of Steve Paul. So yeah, that's the story of this shirt.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm trying to find all these freaking questions. I was scrolling all the way back, but I keep going through these damn comments of that jersey. So anyway, I'm glad that you get to share that with everyone so that maybe they can shut the fuck up now and I can actually read these questions. So scrolling so far, but Yeah, so Robbie Hart asks, how long have we been on Twitch? This is our third or fourth episode on Twitch. We're just trying it out. I didn't realize that we could do it. And then I looked at the different options. There was LinkedIn, and like, that's stupid. I'm not going to stream this there. And I saw Twitch. I'm like, holy shit, I think I have a Twitch account. Let's try it out and see if it works. So apparently it's working if you're seeing this. So that's good news. The first ever comment we got from Twitch was actually someone who apparently wasn't a West Ham supporter, because they were like, West Ham. So I don't think they were,
Yeah, all I'm thinking right now is Robbie Hart his real name, or is it some kind of wedding singer thing? You see the wedding singer, Adam Sandler? It was Robbie Hart, wasn't it?
I think it was Robbie Hart, yeah. Kind of like a rip off Corey Hart, but yeah.
People are asking the shirt. I'm pretty sure it was 97-98 season. It was definitely around 97. Yeah, I think 97-98.
And people were asking, there's no sponsor on it?
No, so it was, in fact, it was a really random year. They just couldn't get a sponsor. I think it was just after Dagenham Motors. I think Dagenham Motors might have gone under. They didn't have a shirt sponsor, so they started the season with this shirt without a sponsor.
Yeah, I remember.
Someone else said 97 as well. But yeah, I was telling these boys before we went live that this shirt, one of my favourite ever games. It was the second game I went to, and it was West Ham Tottenham. It would have been 96-97, and we won 4-3. It was the windiest night at Upton Park I've ever seen, and Sheringham was playing for them. He scored a couple of goals, and crazy. Hartson and Kitson both played and scored. So did Julian Dix.
Awesome. Well, I found a question. Holy shit, that's really great. Danny, we're going to get you on the show probably tomorrow night, if you don't mind. You were asking if you can come on the show again. He's been on the show a bunch of times. We have a spot for tomorrow night if you want to pop on. I know that I shouldn't be saying this over the air, but yeah, hey, come on tomorrow night. Ray's going to be doing a cool little show about the current West Ham squad, who you buy, who you sell, whatever. Not buy, sell, but I mean, who you sell, who you loan out, who whatever for next season, including the guys that are currently out on loan that would come back, like who would you keep, who would you go, and so on. So that's the show tomorrow night. Ray's going to be hosting it, I believe, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Anyway, if you could bring back one academy player, who would it be for me? Who would it be and why? For me, Joe Cole, part one. Let's start with Tommy and go. Actually, you know what? AJ hasn't said anything in a few minutes. Let's start with AJ and go around clockwise. AJ, who would you bring back? Any one academy player?
Any one player? I would actually bring back Martin Samuelson. I don't think he got a fair. I don't think he got a fair shot at the club. He was banging goals on left, right, and centre for the development squad. I think the times that we did get him in, it was only for a couple of minutes at the end of cup games, and even then, that's pretty much ridiculous. But no, I'd say Martin Samuelson. He had a bright future. I have no idea where the hell he's ended up now, but I enjoyed. Hull, is it?
It's actually Hull City, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd still bring him back. I'd bring him back, given our track record of Hull City of late.
Yeah. Adam.
So let me just clarify this question. Are we saying as in, because the question says Joe Cole, I'm assuming like we're going through all time.
Anybody who came through the academy, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Just because, like, obviously, I mean, I could say a player who's now like 45 years old, I wouldn't actually want him back in the squad as he is. But if we go into like their prime, then I would go Rio Ferdinand. I think that, one thing I remember when Rio first started playing for us, it was in the era that I was going to every game. He was, good John, I agree. Rio, like, you could take the ball from defence and bring it into midfield. I'm so glad everyone's agreeing with me. This is amazing. Rio, we're just a centre back is a position that we've been needing a long-term centre back for a long time, but we can't find one. Like, it's been a long time since we had a centre back that was our guy. And the problem with this mixing and matching and changing around every season is that there's just not that consistency. And it's no surprise we make so many stupid mistakes at the back when we keep changing it. Like, if you just get one guy who's our guy, and maybe make Diop be that guy, you know, a guy who's going to be our centre back. He's going to stay there for 5 years. He's going to be consistent. He's going to instruct the rest of the back four what to do. Like, we're mixing that, and Rio was with us long enough to have that.
Yeah. All right. How about then, kind of like on what AJ was saying, how about someone new or more recently?
I would say if we're looking at a recent player who I wish we'd have kept on, I would go to Sebastian Ledger. Just because, you know, he's here in the MLS now. He starts for the US national team. In fact, I'm going to give you a little side story here. So the US just played Costa Rica in a friendly. It was the last game. And a good friend of mine, we mentioned him at the time on the front lines. He actually started that game with Sebastian Ledger. So they were in the camp together. And I called him and I said to him, I was like, "Oh, did you know that Ledger used to play for West Ham?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I had a conversation with him and I sung Bubbles to him." So, like, in the camp, they both sung Bubbles together.
That's funny.
Because he's like, "Oh, I've got a friend who supports West Ham." So, but I think that he was one of a few players, along with George Moncur, who Sam Allardyce threw out to the Wolves in an FA Cup game and repped him. And, you know, I think that, like, Leggett is like an attacking midfielder, a creative midfielder, someone in the centre of the park. And I think had he been given more of a chance, he really could have, you know, excelled for us.
You know, it's funny that Allardyce actually played a lot of academy players. He gave a lot of academy players. A lot of people will say that he didn't give a lot of academy players like the time of day, or didn't really give them the opportunity or whatever. And it's absolutely farthest from the truth. I'll never forget
one FA Cup game. I don't know if you remember. It was against Nottingham Forest, away at Nottingham Forest, and he basically put in the academy team because he was getting a lot of criticism. And he basically threw them to the Wolves. They got absolutely
they got destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, my point is, like, listen, I'll never forget watching on TV. It was I think it was our first season in the Premier League, first season back. We're like, Dan Potts started at left back against Arsenal, and he got fucking hurt, and it was literally the longest injury time I've ever seen in a Premier League match. It was like
Arsenal away, and I know because I was at the game. It was Arsenal away. I was at the stadium. Actually, James Corden was up there. At one point, we were chatting to him. We were getting hammered. Yeah, it was crazy.
So anyway, between him, Elliot Lee, I mean, I've seen them all. You know what I mean? In that era, and like you're saying, George Moncur and a whole bunch, man. It was a time back then. You know what I mean? But anyway,
Freddie Sears was around that time as well.
Someone just mentioned. He's friends with the Freddie Sears, and so he was treated terribly when he was with us. Doesn't surprise me, I guess. But yeah. So anyway, old and new.
Okay, my turn, I guess. Okay, I had quite a bit of time to think about this. If you want to give me a recent one quickly, I'd probably bring back Joe Powell. I think I'd like to have seen him a bit more. We just sold him very recently, Joe Powell. I always thought he looked like he had something about him. And but my real answer, my heartfelt answer, funnily enough, just came up. Dylan Tombides. Because I had quite a bit of time to think about it, and you know, I'm rolling through all the players in my head, and I thought about Dylan, and you know, he tragically lost his life so young, and I'd love to be able to bring him back and give him, you know, an opportunity to kind of maybe break into the first team and show what he's about, you know. And so if that was possible, yeah, it would definitely be Dylan. But if we're going, we can go old school too. You know, you can bring back Billy, you know, someone like Billy Bonds or someone like that. You know, Frank Lampard Sr. or someone like that who came through, you know, that club legend to bring back.
Someone mentioned Lampard earlier, and then Tebow mentioned, hey, well, which one? You know? Yeah. So anyway, I guess I'd have to say Lampard for the old, just because he ended up turning out to be one of the, I guess, best Premier League players. Obviously, Rio or Lampard, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
In our era, anyway. I guess he turned out to be one of the best Premier League players in history. So, but more recently, I don't know, man. The obvious answer is Tompkins, but I'm not going to do that 2 questions in a row. So, I don't know. Tombides was a good shout. Stanislas was also a good shout too. But no, man, I think geez, man. I don't know.
How about Emmanuel Omnomnemni?
Yeah.
Many Omiyinmi.
I never forgiven him for that FA Cup.
He's only remembered for one fucking thing, and that's it. And I'm happy to draw a line under it.
Yeah.
That was a sickener.
I know.
That was a sickener.
I partially blame him, to be honest. For people who don't know what we're talking about, we were in was it the semi-final or the quarter-final?
It was a quarter-final against Aston Villa at home in the cup.
And we were
3-1. Yeah, so we basically beat them 3-1. So we're into the cup semi-final. One of the substitutes we made, who I don't even think he kicked the fucking ball. He came on like injury time, or 90th minute thereabouts. Never kicked the ball. Was Mani Omiyinmi, who was one of our youth academy products. And what bizarrely nobody at the club, apparently even Mani Omiyinmi, realised was that while he was out on loan early in the season for 6 months, he'd played in the fucking cup for the side he was loaned out to and was ineligible to play against Villa. Nobody at the club realised it. Mani Omiyinmi never mentioned it. And so we ended up with Villa complained. The FA made us replay the game and we lost it.
Yeah.
And we were out of the cup.
I'll never forget that.
So that's the only thing any West Ham fan ever thinks of when you mention the name Mani Omiyinmi.
Yep, it's that. I agree. I was so angry. I still get mad today thinking about it as well. Like, he knew. He played in that game. You're right. It is typical West Ham.
I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. When it came up, that he played in the cup already, I was like, oh, you fucking kidding.
Danny Hardy asked, where's Zavon Hines now? He's actually coaching with the academy. And here's a little funny story. So I actually got him to do an interview on the show. And I was interviewing him, and I didn't realize what he was on his way to do. But he was in his car, and he was on his way to actually interview for the fucking job at West Ham. And I had him on for 10 minutes. And he's like, I'm here. I got to go. So what was supposed to be an hour interview got cut short to 10 minutes because he had to go in and interview with West Ham to get the job at the academy. So that's where he is now.
Excellent.
Anyway, he did say I talked to him this week. He said he's going to come back on the show. Also, hopefully this week, I'm trying to hammer out the date with him. But Matt Jarvis is coming on the show. So that's going to be a big one for us. Paul Konchesky was a great interview on Sunday.
Yeah, I watched that. Very good.
The Ian Bishop, Baz, Cox, and Jazz Friday Night Lights tournament show was freaking awesome too, and it came down literally to the fan vote in the chat room. I guess Baz was leading by 1 like, and then and literally when we said it in the chat, okay, it's time to vote now, and I was tallying up the votes, it was like Baz, Jazz, and then all of a sudden 1, 2, 3, 4 votes for friggin' Bish, and he ended up beating out the vote by 1 vote, and then you got the 2 extra likes, which put him over to beat Baz. So it was a great friggin' show. It was really close, and I love that.
It was.
A lot
there
of
was a danger that it was going to be too one-sided.
You got screwed over as well.
Yeah, no one's beating Bish. Let's be honest. He's going to get all the votes.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see.
He'll win the public vote, like the chat room vote, every time.
Well, here's the other thing. So people watching this, please tune in to the Friday Night Lights shows that we do. I know they've been on Sundays lately, but it's just because it's the tournament, and we live in a weird world right now. So we have to do it on Sundays. Except this upcoming Sunday. So Tommy, I didn't get to tell you yet. It's Easter Sunday, so we're not doing a show this Sunday. So we're actually going to postpone the Friday Night Lights this weekend, so everybody knows. But we're heading into the semifinal. Okay, so it's going to be Katie versus Gina versus Irish Tommy. it was going to be
I'm on
awesome.
Team Irish Tommy. I want to lose. I want to have lost to the eventual winner.
Who did you lose to, Adam?
You remember?
Oh, was it me? I'm sorry. No,
you
I don't.
bloody idiot!
Told you I've got no memory.
I don't either. I couldn't remember who was on the show with 2 days ago.
Ask me anything about West Ham. I can remember everything, but general stuff.
And I got a few more things to mention about that too. So basically, the other show is going to be Bish against Alex from Mississippi, who creamed his show. I mean, he won the vote in the chat room, but he'd already had like a 6 like lead anyway, so it didn't really matter if anybody else had won the vote or not. He was going to win that episode. And Charlie Walsh. So Charlie Walsh, Bish, and Alex, that'll be a good episode too. So I don't know. I mean, Charlie's pretty popular in the chat room. I don't know. We'll see.
Especially when it gets his.
To be fair, I trust John Nolan as well.
I'm sorry, Tommy.
I was saying to be fair, I trust John Nolan anyway. I don't think he's just gonna. Bish every time he opens his mouth, he'll be fair.
Wally that you got to worry about. Wally's in the chat room.
Oh, I thought Wally was just totting them up.
No, Wally's the one that's tallying all the legs.
Oh, so he might be a bit dodgy, is what you're saying.
Is he actually watching, paying attention? He's the one that tallies it, and he's actually, if you notice, when John asked him, "Hey, so what's the score now?" He actually looks down at the pad of paper he's writing on. I mean, I've actually seen him scribble on it. Anyway,
maybe I'll go back to our episode and just tally him up myself, just in case.
Yeah, I'm just worried that I'm just worried Ian Bishop's going to be DMing Wally, offering him a signed shirt or something.
Well, he's literally just said he's open to bribes, so yeah, exactly.
So if you're watching, Ian, you know what to do. Signed shirt and Wally's all yours.
So yeah, anyway, there's 2 great shows of those coming up. I guess it's I honestly already told Bish and Charlie and Alex that they were going to be doing 2 weeks from this Sunday, so they're going to be the first episode of the second round. And then a week after that will be Gina versus Katie versus Irish Tommy, which will be great. Hopefully, if everything works out, that's the way it's going to go. And then the final is just going to be 1v1, which is going to be really cool. So we'll have more time, more questions, hopefully, and it'll be interesting. So keep tuned on that one. So I don't know what was in here.
We were doing questions, but
yeah, there is none. So unfortunately. Other than free booze, Wally, that's not a question, but I don't really see any interesting questions popping up. But please, feel free to ask us anything else before we got to go, because we got to go in like a couple minutes. But anyway, so Matt Showers said he was going to do this week. I'm trying to hammer out a date and time. We do have a show tomorrow night. Ray's going to be hosting it. I might be there. I know Danny's probably going to be there. Danny Hardy from the chat room there. And I think maybe Charlie Walsh or somebody will be there, so it'll be a good episode. And then Wednesday we're going to be interviewing one of John Nolan's good friends, travels all over the world, etc., but he's from the UK and West Ham fan, so we're getting back to, but he's living in America, so he's living out in California right now, so we're interviewing more local-ish people again, which is always fun. That's how we started this whole show. And then on Thursday, I don't know what's going on, and Friday, who knows, but I keep telling these guys to please, if they want to do a show on the network, reach out to me. And if you're watching this and you've ever been on the show before and you want to do a show on this network, please reach out to me, because I can't keep track of everybody. And I tend to forget, people who are interested in doing shows on the network. So if you want to do a show on American Hammers TV, we have nights that are open. We have days that are open. We got the platform for you. It's all about everybody's voices being heard and stuff like that. Like look, this show in particular, I love doing this one because I get to bring my friends from all over the world to do this show with me. And it's a hell of a lot of fun. So if you got a topic and you want to do something, just reach out to me. I answer all the social media platforms. We're on everything. So just reach out, man. And yeah. No, I know, Robert, you're not in the UK, but you're from the UK, right? So this is the guy that we're interviewing on Wednesday. But you're living in California, right? I think something like that. But anyway, Lee's going to be doing that with Stelly. But anyway, so yeah, reach out to me, etc. Podcast has been on a halt because this whole coronavirus bullshit.
So do you know when? Sorry, did you say when Matty Jarvis is going to be on?
This week.
This week.
He told me this week. I'm trying to hammer out what day and time because I'm trying to figure out who's going to do the interview and when. you know, it all depends on what time of day, you know. Obviously, he's in the UK, so I got to, you know, work on his time. And Zavon Hines is also going to be, I think, this week. I think, actually, he might be the Sunday interview, Zavon Hines, which would be good. But yeah, maybe I'm tomorrow. Well, yeah, listen, this is another thing. Charlie boy, man, come back, dude. Like, I've been trying to get you back on the show for so long, and I'll say it in front of everybody, like, listen, please come back. Like, we loved having you on. It's been a while. Come back. And everybody in the chat room, give Charlie shit and tell him, come back on the show. We want to see him again. We miss him. All right? So, Charlie boy, please come back. All right? Thank you. Another one, Gaz. Fucking guys, remember Gaz? Anybody remember Gaz at all? Anybody in the chat room or anybody? I'm trying to get him back too, man. He said some, you know, personal things to deal with, and I just would love to have him back on the show. So anybody wants to come on the show, let me know. All right, so AJ, any plugs, anything you want to mention, anything new with Kiwi Hammers TV you want to talk about before we go, and we'll go around in the circle. I know I'll probably do the talking for Adam because he doesn't like to do self-promotion, but which is a lie. But
no, not really for me. I've got a new video coming out on Friday, Claret and Blue. It's basically where we take a stab at the dark, look at West Ham in the news, what's been going on, give my thoughts, potentially get a bit controversial, but that one's coming out on Friday. I should be doing some live streaming very soon too. So Tim, I'll probably talk to you a little bit later on, but I could be tempted to get you on there as well. And of course I've got, oh, come on, stop it, you. No, but yeah, we've got some awesome things coming up slowly but surely. But yeah,
definitely proud of you, man.
We're definitely getting there. So if I'm allowed to do it, YouTube.com, search up Kiwi Hammers TV, subscribe, do whatever.
Please do. Yeah. So yeah, I actually followed you. I mean, I followed you before I even started doing this. I mean, you were one of the, you were one of the few channels, obviously, that besides the big boys, obviously, I also followed more, the channels with less subscribers, stuff like that was trying to start up just because it was West Ham, dude, and just checking it out. And that's why I was following you, following you on Instagram. And that's how we got in touch over this time. And I'm glad to see that you're back into it and doing it regularly now. So, But also, this whole
I've had my personal issues that have popped up, but getting back into it, and just slowly but surely, I'm on the same page as John when it comes to his channel. I'm not doing it to earn a living. It's just entertainment. It's fun. It's
this is therapy, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Hang out and shoot shit with you guys about talking about West Ham, whether we're good or bad. I mean, it's fun. So Adam,
I love the fact that the American Hammers Network is great, and I just want to encourage. I know obviously people watching this are already watching. I do have a podcast with Wayne. West Ham is why we drink. We did record an episode this week. Wayne said the sound was terrible, so and I gave him a lot of crap because at the end of it, I'm like, "Is this the West Ham is why we drink or the Wayne McMullen part?" You know what he's like. The good thing is, I give him a lot of crap all of the time. The worst part is that he can cut most of it. He edits it, but for him as well. Like, it's been a tough time for him because he's like immunocompromised because he's had a lot of heart issues. So he's had to really stay isolated, not leave the house at all. So I want to shout out Wayne. I know he's going slowly in Spain, trapped in his own home. But yeah, if you want to listen to the West Ham is Why We Drink podcast, that'd be awesome. I appreciate it. We're just trying to have fun. And my main message is to stay positive, love your life. And you know what? Just if you enjoy watching online content, just look around all the West Ham stuff. There's plenty out there. And as far as I'm concerned, we're one big family. I don't get involved in any of the bullshit. I never have and I never will. Big up. And Tim, I want to also thank you. I appreciate you for having me on here. I love doing it. It's a lot of fun.
Having you on, man. That's why.
You know what? you really do a great job. So thank you for all the work you put into this. I really appreciate you.
Thanks, brother.
It's not the Oscars, Adam. Jesus Christ.
Fuck you, Tommy.
Here's the bullshit ensues. Okay. So, yeah, Tommy, man. What's up?
Yeah, I don't have a channel. Not interested in having a channel. Much more my style to let Tim and Lee and whoever else do all the hard work, and I'll just pop on, talk shit for an hour, and then go to bed. So this suits me fucking perfect, to be honest. So yeah, you guys crack on, and best of luck. And
you don't have time to do anything else.
I'm quite happy just to piggyback of all you guys. I'll come on whatever show you want.
That's awesome, dude.
But yeah, I'm not going to do any work.
Well, you're definitely going to put up a good fight against Gina and Katie. So I see that one of them is in the chat room. So keep an eye on you, studying you.
That's it, doing the homework.
Oh boy! But anyway, listen, I can't thank everybody enough. Well, you guys especially for agreeing to come on tonight. I love this. That's why we call AHTV and Friends. Like my particular. This is my baby. Like this particular episode, like the show every week, is where I get to pick whoever I want to come on with me, and who I want to spend my night with and shoot the shit. So I enjoy this the most, and everybody in the chat room as well. I'm glad to see, it was off the hook tonight. I mean, if you literally look at every single or the amount of comments tonight, it was crazy. So I really appreciate this. If you're watching over on Twitch or you're watching over on Periscope or Facebook, please hop on over to YouTube and click the subscribe button on YouTube, because that's what means the most to us. It helps us out, obviously, and yeah, good stuff. So, the higher the numbers go, and if you follow us on social media, please follow us on all social media, because eventually we'd like to get some sponsorships and stuff like that. So we need our numbers to grow before we start getting stuff, because I love free coffee, man. I miss my free coffee. My free Strava craft coffee. I miss that stuff. It was so good.
That's why you started the channel, so we need to get you your free coffee.
I've been dry, man. Dry so long. But anyway, thank you everybody so much for tuning in tonight. And there's a show tomorrow night, and there's a show Wednesday night. Show tomorrow night's at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and the show Wednesday night's 9 p.m. Eastern time, a little later. But please tune in. Also, watch the replays. And if you haven't already, here's one last thing I'll say. Please go back and watch the Friday Night Likes episodes from this whole season, and catch up on those, and catch up on the ones that for the tournament especially, so you can be abreast and get ready for the the semifinal and the final. Really good episodes, and they don't get nearly as much views as they should compared to all of our other shows. It's literally my favorite show that I'm not on. I love it, and I hope you guys do too. So also, well, I guess on that note, season 2, if the freaking West Ham ever play games again, we're going to do season 2 of what do you call it, Friday Night Lights, which means we're going to be bringing new people into the mix. Some of the ex-players that we've had on the show are going to, Paul Konchesky says he wants to do one. I know Kenny Brown, we didn't have on this last season. He wants to come and do one, and so on. And then obviously
have a defending champion though, right?
Well, we want to mix it up this next season. So we want people to actually come in that haven't been on the show, mixed with some people, some of our favorite guests from this most recent season. So that, it's not going to be happening anytime soon, but just, if you're interested, just reach out. So anybody.
Hello, the cameo.
Yeah, dude.
You've got to try get him on, Tim. Come on now.
Oh, we have. Listen. There's only one person that I want on this fucking show.
Oh, Christ.
He wants to get me in contact with this mother. Listen, there's only one way to get in a hold of him. Actually, 2 ways. One's his agent, and I don't even know who the fuck that is. And secondly, it's he's got an Instagram account which he doesn't even use. So there's no friggin' way to get a hold of the guy. So hopefully I'll just bring on some ex-players that play with him and know him, and maybe get him on.
See if you can get hold of Czech. He might be able to pass the word on for you. Czech Kuyate is on all the social media.
I was watching his live stream on Instagram the other day, but the guy does not speak the English very well. Like I don't even think he'd understand me even if I couldn't talk to him. Like
you can get a French translator or something.
Lee
speaks. Lee is perfect. You used to live in France, you know.
There you go. Yes, and if I ever get Jordan Hugel on the show, you know who's going to be the co-host in that one. It's got to be.
That'll be worth it.
Charlie will lose his shit if you get Hugel.
Yeah. So Alex, the guy that you guys don't see much, but he's like he does the most behind the scenes. He was the one who was like, dude, you got to get DeCagno. We got to get DeCagno. We got to get DeCagno. And obviously, that's the pinnacle. We actually had Julian Dix confirmed to do a show with us, and then literally, like 12 days later, he took the job at West Brom, and then that was out of the question. So that got all canceled. He was too busy, et cetera, et cetera. So now that thing is over with. I mean, because of the whole, everybody's in lockdown. I'm trying to get, So
I know a former player who might do an interview for us. I'll get on to him.
We'll do that. We'll talk about this off the air. I don't know why I'm doing this. So anyway, have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much, and make sure you hit the like button. Please hit the like button before you leave. All right, cool. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.